Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of A Lost Cause. I'm Shawna.
And I'm Annie.
And today we are talking about famous siblings, sort of. Shannon
It's
and
complicated.
Boone. It's complicated, yeah. That'll probably be the episode or the name of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shannon and Boone, is it Rutherford?
Okay, no, it's Shannon, Rutherford, and Boone Carlisle.
Okay, well, we'll explain all about that. Because at first, we think that Shannon and Boone are spoiled rich siblings. But we learn that their backstory is a bit more complicated. So, fill us in on what's going on there.
Okay, so their parents got married when they were, 8 and 10, I think it was?
Yeah, so they're actually
step-siblings.
Step-siblings, right.
Mm-hmm.
So, Boone's mom, right?
Yeah.
Married Shannon's dad.
Shannon's dad. And then we don't see anything from their childhood or anything, so we assume that they've had a nice childhood. And then, flash forward when they're in their, 20s. We find out Shannon is accepted into some school, or, an internship.
For ballet.
That was, I don't even know, I think it was ballet, but I'm not really sure. So then she doesn't have the money. So she asks her stepmom for money. But her stepmom is, really rich, by the way.
Well, and why can't she ask her dad?
Oh, her dad died in a car crash, which was the same car crash as
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah. Yeah.
So Jack's wife, cool. Sarah. Yeah, we find this out later.
Yeah.
But at the very same hospital, St. Sebastian's, you've got Sarah. Well, it was the same accident, right?
Yes, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, so it's not just, that they're there at the same time, but it was actually, they collided with each other.
Yes.
So it was obviously a very serious accident because as a result, Sarah is, going to be paralyzed, and Shannon's dad died. Yeah.
So his mom is not that great. She doesn't like Shannon for some reason. I get the feeling that she just married, she doesn't care about Shannon at all. Mm-hmm. She only cared about maybe even just the money or something like that. But anyways, she claims that there was nothing left for Shannon in the will, which is just kind of that seems fishy. Mm-hmm. So then Shannon goes back and she's like, well, what am I going to do? She asks Boone for money, but to stay with him in New York, but he's moving away. And then we flash forward to, let's say 2 years after that. Boone gets a call from Shannon, and it sounds like she's in an abusive relationship and that she needs help. So Boone goes to help her, and when he gets there, it's the same thing. It seems like she's dating this guy who's beating her, and it's not great. It's not great, and so, what does he do? Oh yeah, he pays the guy to break up with her.
Yeah.
But then, Boone finds out that they, pretty much conned him.
Yeah, it was all set up.
It was all set up so that they could get the money. But then Shannon is like, oh, he took all the money and just left me.
And this happens in Sydney, right?
Yeah, in Sydney.
So that is why they're in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And so we find out it's not really quite a brother-sister relationship at all. But actually, pretty much the whole time, Boone is kind of in love with Shannon, and Shannon exploits that. So Shannon at first comes off as a real villain because it just seems like she's, Boone is just controlled and manipulated by Shannon. He can't say no to her, and she just exploits that. And so we kind of think of Shannon as just really superficial and manipulative and just kind of we'll do whatever it takes to get what she wants. But I find as time goes on, we get a fuller picture of Shannon, which is the great thing about Lost, is that one of the lessons from Lost, which is so important, is that you can't always take everything at face value, but sometimes there's just more to it than on the surface.
Yes. And On the island, I would say I would probably relate to Shannon the most on the island because she doesn't do much. She actually, well, I don't understand why Boone gets so mad at her for just relaxing because it's like they're on a, like, beautiful tropical island. Why not
she's
take advantage of it?
Kind of making the best of it, you know? She's in her bikini, kind of like, it's like a beach holiday.
So, why deal with the others? Why deal with the raft when you could just, like, spend your entire life on a vacation?
Yeah.
Like,
it's all about perspective.
Yep.
But, you know, too, like, I think in Shannon's defense, it seems like she's very manipulative of Boone, but in a lot of ways, like, she was just fighting to survive. She had to give up her dream of ballet. That was an awesome opportunity for her, getting that internship. And because she's pretty much cut off, she just has to support herself, you know, and so she becomes a nanny. Mm-hmm. She does kind of whatever it takes. So she's not really the poor little rich girl that, you know, she presents as. Mm-hmm. And then I think, too, like, we have initially a lot of sympathy for Boone, because,
we love you, Boone.
Because it seems like, he's just been so taken advantage of.
My first watch, I didn't like them that much, but now that I'm watching with my little brother, I like them a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Both of them, or?
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah, so we've talked a bit about Shannon, and we'll come back to her, but let's talk a bit about Boone and kind of his experience on the island.
So, I think that he really wants to be a main character. He really wants to be out doing stuff. Mm-hmm. I think he's actually a part of the sort of hunting party for the polar bears.
Yeah.
He's also one of the people who goes to find Rousseau's signal. Mm-hmm. And then, what happens then?
I think Boone is really looking for a place to belong, you know?
And then he's, like, going with all the people who are trying to find Charlie and Claire because Ethan took them.
Yeah.
You know, reasonably. And then Boone... Boone, and Locke find the hatch.
Yeah, so Boone finds a friend in Locke.
Yes.
And this first season of Lost, Locke is really kind of a father figure to more than one person.
Everybody.
Hey? Like we talked about Walt last week, but definitely to Boone. And Boone, like, really kind of, I don't know how you want to say it, falls under Locke's spell.
Whoa.
And
okay.
Maybe a bit harsh, but he's very much influenced by Locke. And as we know, Locke just feels like he's there for a purpose, and he becomes almost obsessed with this mission of, you know, finding what is in that hatch. And so, how did they find the hatch? Were they hunting for boar?
I think they were. I don't know. It was raining and it was dark, so that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were hunting for boar.
And what about... How does the plane in the tree factor in?
Okay, I can tell you because I just watched that. So John Locke has this goofy dream where, you know, it's very disturbing, but it pretty much tells him he's got to find this plane. It's like a yellow plane.
So he dreams about the plane before he actually sees it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they, like, make it pretty clear what, like, the plane is called, but I just call it the yellow plane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is yellow. Yeah. And then, Locke and Boone find it, but then Locke's legs are, like...
giving him trouble.
Deteriorating or something. I don't know, the whole storyline of that, like, that whole episode is just kind of, like, super stressful because...
It sort of seems to be suggesting that, you know, Locke was healed by the island, right? He was paralyzed, he gets healed by the island, but then it's almost like the island is sort of punishing him a bit. If he's losing faith or if he's kind of going the wrong way, he starts to have, like, numbness in his legs. Right?
Yeah.
He's having trouble with his legs again.
And it's just annoying, and that, I think it's the same episode, is sad. But, so then Locke is, like, on the ground. He's like, I can't walk. And they find this plane. And Boone goes up there to... Actually, it's pretty smart. He wants to find a radio to, like, call up for help. He goes up there, but he actually does, like, call him a little thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And should I
say
what it says?
Yeah.
So he says, hey, we're, like, the survivors of Oceanic 815. And someone who was answering says, we're the survivors of Oceanic 815.
And at the time, it's like, what?
Yeah. And then the plane, something happens with the weight. The plane, like, falls. And Boone is, like, severely injured. And then all of a sudden, Locke can walk again, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid. And then Locke has to bring this injured Boone, like, back to camp. Oh, and then he's, like, all hurt, and it's, like, this whole big deal, and Jack's trying to save him, and it's, like...
And it's very upsetting.
It is very upsetting, and it just goes on for so long, even though it's just one episode. So many things, like, he has to have a blood transfusion, and then they're, like, gonna take off his leg for some reason, and it's just... And Shannon's not even there. Shannon's on a date with...
Annie's favorite character, Saeed.
Ooh.
That was clearly...
Not in this house.
It's clearly sarcastic.
Not in this house. Not in this house. Not even
So, but how is the plane connected to the hatch?
I don't remember.
It is, though,
No,
right?
It's not, though.
It's not? Okay.
No, because they were trying to figure out how to open it, and he was like, this is my destiny, because he got this dream.
Yeah.
But it meant nothing. It just meant that Boone was going to die.
So it's not that the hatch is, like, under the plane? Or
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So does Boone survive?
No.
No, he doesn't.
Come back, Boone. We miss you.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So then remind me of how they find the hatch.
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is it's dark and it's raining, and they're either hunting for boar or trying to find Charlie and Claire.
But it's Boone and Locke, and they keep it a secret.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Until Boone dies.
Right.
And Boone is actually talking about a hatch because he's all delirious, and Jack's like, what? And he's like, all mad because, he's always mad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is, like, not a good moment for John Locke because
it seems like he was lying, trying to hide stuff.
Well, and he kind of says, at one point he says, like, Boone was the sacrifice that the island demanded, which seems...
not what we need to hear, buddy.
Seems kind of cold and isn't really true, like, that's what Locke thinks at the time, but, I think that's why Locke ends up being so disillusioned when he finds the pearl, and it seems like he was just pushing that button for nothing. And there's nothing really that special about the hatch after all. But getting back to Boone, do you want to talk about the other weird episode with Boone, where
further instructions,
where like Locke puts that stuff on?
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That was.
That's like another weird episode.
Poor Boone. The show did him dirty. But.
Is that your hot take? Well, we'll save that for later, but...
No. It's way worse than that. It's not nearly as good as that hot take, but I thought of it in the middle of the night, and I was like, I'm so smart! Because it was the middle of the night, and...
Yep, there's nothing more brilliant than your thoughts in the middle of the night. That is true. So... Tell us about this psychedelic episode with Boone.
So, Boone is kind of giving Locke crap because he's like, well, all we're doing is just staring at it. We're not opening it yet, as Boone does. And then John Locke like knocks him out, puts this stuff on his head to make him hallucinate, and ties him up.
Well, we don't know that until after. We think that it's some kind of like ointment or some medicinal thing at the time, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then, he's all tied up, and he's like, but then there's, like, this knife in front of him, and he's like, John Locke is like, once you have the proper motivation, you'll free yourself, or something of that
Yeah.
sort. And then, sure enough, he starts hallucinating, hearing Shannon screaming and the smoke monster running after her. And he actually does. He gets himself free, but it's, like, so painful because he's all tied up, and it's like...
But he'd do anything for Shannon, right?
Yes. And then in this weird dream, Shannon actually dies. And then he's like, "You killed her!" to John Locke. But then he's like, she's fine.
Yeah, so that's when Boone and the viewer realizes it was all kind of a hallucination.
Which, it was so weird.
But the point of it is that, supposedly now he's finally free of Shannon, right?
Right.
And that he, still loves her. I mean, more in a kind of a sibling way, but he's not really kind of so much under her thumb anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, again, very complicated. And so Boone dies tragically, which is a shock at the time.
Yeah.
Because really, like...
No main character has died.
That's right. So it's like the show is sending this message. Like, we're not afraid to kill off main characters. And I think, like, Boone is probably pretty popular. He's, like, good looking.
Yeah, we love you, Boone.
And
but
so,
Vampire Diaries fans, we had him first. We had him first.
So it is quite shocking at the time. And then let's get back to Shannon. So you had alluded to her being on a date with Saeed. So let's talk a bit about that.
What's there to talk about?
Like, yeah.
There's nothing to talk about.
It's just sort of
I was talking to Shawna earlier today saying that Rudzinski is probably my most quoted character. I use that one a lot.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this unlikely romance, which I don't know if they quite pull off, right?
It seems forced, in my opinion.
It seems a bit forced.
In my opinion.
So Saeed and Shannon connect because Shannon was an au pair, I think, in France for a French family for a while. And so she has a little bit of French, right?
And then Saeed finds these sheets, like these scroll-like papers from Rousseau.
Right, who we haven't met yet, right? Or have we?
Oh, yeah.
At that time? Okay. But we need them translated.
Yeah, and so Saeed and Shannon spend quite a long time decoding them.
And apparently fall in love, even though, Saeed supposedly can't live without Nadia, but he does fall in love with Shannon.
Yeah, he's, like, so inconsistent.
Yeah. It's a very brief romance, though. So the beginning of season 2, we've got Sawyer, Jin, Michael are separated from the main beach, right? Because the raft kind of was on fire, and they go back
pretty
to shore.
Early in the season, they go on the shore and they get captured by the Tailies.
So now they're all coming back together, right? So we've got the Tailies and Sawyer and is Michael with them at this point? Yeah, Michael and Jin. But then meanwhile, and we talked about in the Walt episode, Shannon sees Walt.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's freaky.
Yeah.
Rewatching it wasn't that bad, but it's pretty disturbing because he's all wet. I'm doing the same thing that I did last podcast. Anyways. Sorry. And he's speaking backwards. Trying to warn her, I think.
Yeah.
Because every time it happens, the whispers start going everywhere.
Right. So. And how does Shannon kind of collide with the Tailies? What's the lead up to that? Is it that she's chasing Vincent?
Yeah, she's chasing Vincent because she, made Vincent smell this clothing of Walt, thinking he was a bloodhound or something.
Yeah. Or
that he was going to lead him to Walt, but he didn't. He actually, kind of led them to Michael, so it was kind of right, but not. But then Ana Lucia was being Ana Lucia, and one of the Tailies had just gotten taken by the others.
Yeah, so the flight attendant.
So they were really, they were really, on edge.
Very much on edge. Sawyer's badly injured. I think they're hearing, whispers. Yeah. It's raining really hard. They're just kind of afraid, paranoid, and they hear someone coming, and so then what does Ana Lucia do?
she just shoots whoever is coming.
So she doesn't wait to see who it is.
And then we figure out.
And, like, tragically, shoots Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so another tragic death. So, again, like, just a really surprising turn of events.
For both of them.
For Boone and Shannon, that they both die. So Boone dies, in the first season, and then Shannon very early on in season 2.
Yeah.
And, of course, then Saeed is like...
but then immediately forgives Anna Lucia. Like, it's not fair! It's not fair who he picks on.
Well, it was an accident. But, yeah, a very bad beginning for Ana Lucia, trying to, like, join the rest of the community. So that's the sad tale of Boone and Shannon for a little while. So, like you mentioned, there's the Vampire Diaries. So the actor who plays Boone, I
Shannon
think
goes...
it's Ian Somerhalder or something.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure, like, if... I think it was just the writer's plan all along to kind of, like we said, sort of shock the audience.
You think so, huh?
Well, kind of. Or do you think that,
I think
that
he
wanted to leave the show to do Vampire Diaries?
What? That's an interesting theory. I don't think that anybody would want to be a vampire that badly. But... especially when you're on such a good show. But
yeah, so we don't really know. Same as the actress who plays Shannon.
What, Twilight?
Maggie Grace.
They both become vampires after their deaths.
I don't know.
She is a vampire. I know that.
Okay, she plays a vampire, but I think she was also, we mentioned, in the movie Taken shortly after being on Lost. So again, like you never know. Like, a lot of TV people want to pursue movies, and so sometimes it's their choice to leave.
Did I tell you what I saw on Pinterest? I get ads on Pinterest, and I saw one. There's this trend where, like, there's a pink American flag and then a celebrity in front of it, and I got one for Boone, and I was like, Boone! So I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah?
Put it up in my room. Yeah. It's for Vampire Diaries fans, but I'm just doing it to spite them.
Yeah, like to reclaim Boone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a real loss to the show. There was that kind of shock value for sure, but they were interesting characters. But then they're pretty much replaced, I guess, because there's always new characters, and so heading into season 2, we've got like the Tailies. We've got, Desmond. We've got Henry Gale.
Henry Gale! Today we saw a hot air balloon, and I was screaming. And my dad didn't like it that much.
Yep. Well, I'm sure we're just getting closer and closer by the day to our Henry Gale podcast.
One day.
One day at a time. One day at a time. But we do see Boone and Shannon again from time to time. They appear in flashbacks.
Yeah, like airport flashbacks, especially.
Airport flashbacks. We see Shannon kind of, I think, in a really sort of funny cameo. This is the very controversial, divisive Paolo and Nikki episode.
Nikki and Paolo.
Where, it's kind of flashing back.
Expose!
Yeah.
Razzle dazzle.
Flashing back to a time when Shannon was still alive and on the island, and she just has this great line, like where, Kate and her 2 boyfriends or something like that. So it's kind of a nice way to see
have
her again.
back.
Yeah, to have them back. And then we also see them in the Sideways.
Yes,
just
we
very,
do.
very briefly though.
Yeah, I feel like they were like, oh, we forgot Boone and Shannon. They're like, we have to do something with them.
I almost
How do you think Boone was awoken?
Yeah, see...
It doesn't say.
I feel bad for Boone. I feel like his whole storyline is kind of skipped over. Like, what about Boone's true love? What about, like...
Well, I do like that they have some diversity, because not everybody... I mean, evidently, not everybody ends up with someone.
It's true. But I feel like the show does kind of do Boone dirty even in the Sideways, because... like, it's almost like they're just using Shannon for, like, a happy ending for Saeed, really, more than anything. And so how Saeed and Shannon, like, remember, is Shannon is, like, being roughed up by some guy outside a bar, And this is when Saeed still doesn't recognize her, in the sideways, doesn't know what's
but
happening.
suddenly in the sideways, he's like a good person.
A protector. Yeah.
Which is pretty different from what I've seen.
But the sideways is different. I mean, look at Ben Linus.
Whoa.
He's like completely different in the sideways. He tries to save John Locke's life. So there's a precedent for things being very different in the sideways.
You know what?
And not to focus only on Ben. Anthony Cooper seems to be a good guy in the sideways.
I don't like that.
We don't even
That's
know.
wrong. That's
maybe
bad
even Whitmore.
Weird, and just get it out of my face.
So it's entirely possible that Saeed is.
And why does Anthony Cooper get to redeem himself, but not Michael and Walt?
I don't really know that Anthony Cooper does redeem himself, because he just ends up kind of being in a limbo state, right? He has a stroke and he's not there, right. So it's not really a happy ending for him.
Well, why does he get to be in the sideways, but all of our friends at Dharma? Oh yeah, because they're on the island. Sorry.
I know we've already done our Saeed episode, but it's hard to say, because what the show's saying. Is it only because of Saeed's circumstances that he became a killer, or was he just sort of like that from the start? But at any rate, when he rescues Shannon, they remember each other. But Boone is just sort of like a bystander to all of it, So we see, I think it's Boone and Hurley. Mm-hmm. And so we totally miss out on Boone's...
Yeah, poor Boone.
Yeah.
Justice for Boone.
Yeah, I don't know if they filmed it and just didn't include it, or they just kind of thought, we'll just fast forward a bit and, not show everybody kind of how Boone figured it out. Because is he the only one we don't see how he remembered? Because Hurley we see, it's with
You know what
Libby.
I found out? I don't know why I'm doing this in front of all of our lovely viewers.
Just
but,
the thousands of people watching.
They actually filmed a different, remembering scene for Ben. And it's not revealed what it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I think what they went with was kind of perfect, though, because if anything is going to remind Ben of the island...
But it was a different one.
It's going to be being punched repeatedly in the face, because that was his most common experience on the island.
Which is, I need answers. What was in that flashback?
Well, now you have something to live for, right? Mm-hmm. So it's good. It keeps the mystery alive.
Yeah.
Like you said in last week's podcast, you'll have no reason to live after we do the Ben podcast, but there's always a reason to keep believing. And
what if it's just never revealed what was in that?
Well, and I mean, what if we never find out what was supposed to happen in the Annie episode that, never got...
What do you mean?
Well, that they were going to have
I
this
already
episode.
know what was going to happen.
But you don't know for sure.
Well, yeah. That's what the producers said and the writers said, so
Yeah, I'm sure this is very hard to follow, but all will be...
all will be revealed. You have to wait. Haha, cliffhanger.
We just like to build the suspense. It's not that we're being unprofessional and disorganized. It's that
Is it sponsor time?
We're building the suspense. Yeah, let's take a little pause to have our shout out.
So, it was my birthday! Recently. And so my parents got me this wondrous thing. Look at it! Isn't it so cute? It's the Dharma van.
And it really is. It's not just an ordinary... Show them the front of it.
Yeah, okay.
See?
Do you see the Dharma van?
It really is a Dharma van.
And then it says... Wait, is it back? It's backwards.
Yeah, wow.
But it says lost up there.
It is a thing of beauty.
It is beautiful. Shall we reminisce about all the wonderful moments in the Dharma van?
Well, and I'd like to imagine that inside the Dharma van, even though you can't see him, there's
something there.
It's full of beer cans. And someone else. Roger.
Yeah.
Skeleton Roger.
Shout out to my artwork.
Yes, actually, that'll be
That's my best artwork, but this is mediocre artwork compared to that. But I've been drawing lately again, which is nice. So I did something especially for our podcast, and it's Shannon and Boone.
Isn't that lovely?
it is. They're arguing
as
on
usual.
the beach.
Yeah.
They're mad at each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll have more art to share.
Oh, don't.
As
you
the
already
episodes
know.
go on. But that's our
featured
artwork for this week.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry, in case you're wondering, Daniel is also here.
Yeah, and we also applied the perfume and everything. The only thing that's missing is a chicken salad sandwich.
Yeah, but, you know, that's how it goes.
Yeah, life isn't fair.
So, Shannon and Boone, we kind of, unlike a lot of the characters we talked about on our podcast, their story really only goes up to season 2, so really not as much to say about them.
Yeah.
But I think they were an important part of the, those first few episodes and establishing a fan base. And we're good representatives of kind of, the sort of white privileged rich kids. And that's kind of what Maggie Grace on the documentary.
Oh yeah, she was on the documentary and she was great.
Yeah, we always want to give points to the cast members that appeared on that documentary.
Point for you.
So point for you. Even though she was on fewer episodes than a lot of the other characters.
She was great on the podcast too.
She was really good and had lots of good insights.
And I guess I sometimes tend to associate the characters with the actors.
Right.
But she seemed really excited to be a part of it. But I would think, oh, Shannon, she doesn't care about being on Lost. But she seemed to really have fun, which is always nice to see.
And it just goes to show that she was a good actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
She really played that character well because we bought into that whole kind of spoiled brat character. And also good to see that neither one of them really seemed to have any bad blood with the show because they were still willing to come back and do, episode appearances and flashbacks, and which seems to be the norm. Out of all the people that were killed off, I think most of them do come back at some point. So.
Well, now I'm gonna have to prove you wrong.
Yeah. But is there anyone that was really kind of disgruntled when they were written off the show? And who knows? I mean, we know that.
Maybe Charlie. No, not Charlie.
Yeah, he did come back.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, Matthew Fox obviously was in it the whole way through, but after Lost was over.
Wait, sorry. I'm sorry if you're watching that. I didn't make that face at you. I was remembering something that happened yesterday. Sorry, Matthew Fox.
Well, we don't want to offend Matthew Fox.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just never participates in anything, so. Which I think is more with his, personality and kind of shying away from the spotlight now than his association with Lost. I mean, I don't know how he could have anything but gratitude for Lost because it was such a great showcase for him. And
What?
I don't know what that's all about, but I think we're just about ready for this week's hot take.
Hot take. Okay, so I'm sure that this is probably going to be the worst hot take of the whole series.
Wow.
But me and my mom watched this movie Clueless, which seems to be a classic, and it ends with this girl ending up with her ex-stepbrother. Their parents were together,
so same
but then
situation.
they divorced.
Yeah.
And if that's not frowned upon by the society, then Boone and Shannon are allowed to be together. That's my hot take.
Well, and I sort of have a comment about that as kind of along the same lines. Sometimes I wonder if the reason that they both got written off the show was just because of the ick factor. Because I mean, sure, on Clueless, the movie, you're absolutely right. That is kind of the romance that ends up, building.
Yeah, and when I was watching, I was like, what? My mom was smiling, and she was so grossed out during Lost. But it's that's so unfair.
But I think that it is different on Lost somehow. I think it's supposed to be a real jolt and a real shock. Because I think for the first few episodes, when do we even learn that they are actually step siblings? I don't think it's right off the bat.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
So when we're seeing these characters and thinking of them as brother and sister, and then in the flashback we see it went beyond just like Boone having feelings for Shannon, you know, but something did actually happen between them. And so it is a bit of a like ick factor.
But like, come on. It's unfair. Poor Boone and Shannon.
Poor Boone and Shannon. Yeah.
Give them a break.
Yeah.
Justice for Boone and Shannon.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not just for being killed off the show, but kind of being put in such an impossible situation.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to have continued on the show, like, with this sort of weird tension. You know, are they just going to relate to each other as brother and sister, even though this thing happened? Like, they maybe didn't know where to go from there, so, yeah.
Good hot take, right?
But it is a good hot take, because that similar kind of, like, romance has been, you know, acceptable. There's also, like, a movie, The Royal Tenenbaums, where...
I've never seen it because I'm normal.
In that case, it's, like, Gwyneth Paltrow and Luke Wilson, and they're, like, she was adopted, so she's his adopted sister.
But that's
kind
of even weirder.
Yeah, kind of even weirder. But we're supposed to be rooting for them, I think. So yeah, Lost. Always
Lost.
Always more
I
than meets
like
the eye.
how Lost really took some risks, and this was definitely one of them. The whole Boone and Shannon thing, because they could have gotten canceled from that, but they weren't, because the world is full of weird people like me, and I am an addict to Lost, and there's no denying that.
Little did Annie know when the first time she watched it that it would just begin.
We need like a name for a Lostaholic.
Yeah, Lostaholic.
Yeah,
exactly. Before we conclude, how about, you know, speaking of shout-outs, a shout-out to the fashion.
Oh, yeah. I like, was really, I don't know what came over me. I was, like, possessed with this need for that one shirt Boone wears. It's, like, totally my style.
And what does it look like
It's,
again?
like, it's a gray shirt.
Is it a little shiny?
No. It's weird. With, like, cards on it, and something about it was like, I need that in my closet.
Okay. So you're thinking more of Boone. Yeah, I think Boone had great fashion. Like, you know, good hair,
Shannon too, though.
Leather jackets, but then let's not forget, Shannon had some really great outfits.
Yeah, and I like Shannon because she has short hair like me. So, you know.
So you get some, like, styling ideas
from
Shannon. Yeah.
Mostly just straight, but, like, you know.
Yeah, sadly, Shannon wasn't around long enough to kind of be part of the bangs.
Oh, yeah. See? I told you.
I think she would have looked great in bangs.
She would. Yeah.
So, seeing how I've once again brought up the bangs.
Oh, here we go.
There is one more point I forgot to make on the Claire episode, which is when I first talked about
This is the Shannon and Boone episode.
I know, but, like, you know, one thing leads to another. You always use everything to talk about Ben, so I can talk about the bangs. But, so, yeah, like, as I mentioned in the Claire episode, you know, Claire gets bangs, like, Sun gets bangs. It's just all of a sudden all the women have bangs. But I forgot to say that one thing that doesn't make sense is, you know, crazy Claire, who's, like, been surviving in the jungle, and her hair is just, like... I think
we did talk about this.
Well, we did talk about how her hair is a matted just mess, yet she still has bangs. Like, so for 3 years, she's not combing her hair or, like, apparently bathing, but she's keeping the bangs, so...
So you found one continuity error.
It's not really an error, because maybe she cuts her bangs because they're always in her face, and, you know, she's... Yeah. Doesn't.
Okay.
So, but it's just kind of, like, unlikely that that's the one part of her, you know, personal grooming that she would attend to, but...
So... Whatever. It's okay. Yeah. Your findings are important, too.
And your findings are completely rational, and...
What are you talking about?
Just all of your views are completely
Okay.
normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. It's all good.
I didn't mean like that. I meant like when you find stuff in Lost, like when I found that cameraman in Lost.
Yeah. That was one of your greatest moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for sure. Like, people will be talking about that, like, for the rest of your life. Really, it was, like, such a good, because no one else spotted it. Also, all of these, like, annoying podcasters, like, I bet they didn't do original artwork.
Yeah, I bet you didn't do original artwork, huh?
So, again, we are a really good podcast.
We're a really good podcast. And, like...
We're always, like, really well prepared.
Uh-huh.
And professional. We, like, edit things out when, you know, they don't work out. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so on that note, now I think, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will, that I think we've actually made it through all of our season 1 characters.
Wrong. Danielle.
Oh, okay. Are we doing Danielle next time?
Yes.
We are. Okay.
Well, are we?
Well, I guess we don't know. So surprise.
Alex?
For some reason, I thought that this was our last season 1.
Me too, but then I realized, wait! So, what? So, we'll edit that out.
Yeah, we will. For sure. Well, join us next week. Who knows what we'll be talking about.
Wait, we have to wait until it gets to 42 minutes.
We'll either be talking about Rousseau and Alex, or we will be doing our season 1 wrap-up.
With Donna. So,
yeah, Donna's going to be our special guest.
Mm-hmm.
So, namaste.
And see you in another life, brother. Catch you on the flippity flop.